All right, we're going to be making Oreos today, and it looks like it's pretty simple. It's the first time we're making it, so hopefully we'll be able to give you some tips as we're going along. And the first thing that you're going to need is an electric mixer. It doesn't have to be a KitchenAid. It can be a handheld mixer, but you want the paddle attachment on if you're using the KitchenAid. And the first thing that you're going to do is put a stick of softened butter, mine's just been sitting out at room temperature for a little while, into the mixer. Okay. My assistant, will you add the granulated white sugar?
Okay, the whole thing.
The whole thing.
That's a lot of sugar. That's gonna be what? Are we making a batter of the chocolate part?
We are making the chocolate part. That's these ingredients right here, and then these ingredients right here is the white center of the Oreo.
Yeah.
Put this on low and let this beat up. And cookies are made using something called the creaming method. And the creaming method means you want the butter and the sugar to get all creamy. And it's going to start to look like mashed potatoes.
That's probably enough.
That's probably enough. It looks light and fluffy.
And the mashed potatoes.
It looks like mashed potatoes, right?
Well, it kind of looks like mashed potatoes. Stop it.
Yep, you got it. Now we're going to add in the egg. And we're going to mix that up. Can you scrape down the side?
Great.
And we need to mix up our dry ingredients. So for the dry ingredients, we have some extra dark cocoa powder, which we used when we made black and white cookies. That was another fun video last week.
Yeah.
All-purpose flour, some baking soda, which we're going to add here. Mix the dry ingredients here. We have the cocoa powder, and we're going to put in the flour. You want to put in the flour?
The whole thing.
The whole thing. That's the flour, the baking soda. But we want to make sure that there's no lumps in the cocoa. Okay, so shake this like this on top. And we're going to mix this up, and then we're going to put it in plastic wrap, and we're going to let it chill.
On the table, on the flat and surfacey table.
Onto the plastic wrap.
The plastic wrap, I mean that.
Okay, we got our dough has been chilled, and one of the really cool products that we are going to use, I absolutely love this rolling pin. I'm trying to find the, this is by Joseph & Joseph, and it's really great, especially when you're working with kids, because it allows you to set the thickness. So when you're rolling out cookies, what happens a lot of the time is you push too much on one area and it becomes too thin, and then things don't cook evenly. So this rolling pin is great because you can set it. So right now we have it set pretty thin, and we'll see how we like it when we open it up. And look at how nice and dark this dough is. It's almost charcoal.
It looks so good. It looks like I could just eat it all off. But don't, guys. It has raw egg inside it still.
Yes. So we're going to sprinkle a little bit of flour down.
Hey, Mom. Why do we have to sprinkle flour down?
That's a good question. So if we don't sprinkle flour down, what will happen is the whole thing will stick. So whenever you're working with dough like this, and you're rolling out cookies, you don't want to just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, and then you don't pay attention to the whole fact that the whole thing is stuck. So I like to roll it out slow and constantly keep turning it. And I'm just making sure that they're not stuck and flipping them over, giving them a little flour on each side before we go to cut. We couldn't find the cutters that I normally use, so we checked online, thank you internet, and Tasty Video used the perfect circle that is a champagne glass. So for the filling, you're gonna wanna put on your whip attachment, and for this, you're gonna want really soft butter. Really soft butter. You're gonna need vanilla extract, and you're gonna need powdered sugar. So the first thing that we wanna do is just whip up this soft butter. Now we're gonna add in some powdered sugar. But for this step, it's gonna go in through here. There are times I've skipped this when making icing, and you will always regret it. Slowly add in the vanilla. Yep.
I got it.
And now we're gonna wait for our cookies to come out and fill our cookies. So I'm taking the icing here, and I have just a Ziploc bag that I put in kitchen glass, and I'm using that to hold it up because it makes it easier. Just a small opening, because we could always make it bigger, but we don't want to have to transfer it at this point. You want to make sure you have really clean hands.
It's nice being packed.
Yeah, it is much easier that way. I did notice when these came out of the oven that some of them still had a little bit of flour on top. So tip would be that you want to make sure that you have really clean cookies, no flour residue before you begin. Okay, and then we should be able to give it a squeeze. And you could go around and clean up the edges, but that looks pretty good already. Right? Now it's a little bit bigger.
Now it's a little bit bigger, but
Will you put the top on?
I can squish it down.
Don't squeeze too much, because we don't want it coming out. Okay, and that's how to make Oreo cookies.